Cool, are we back? Can you hear me now?
Should be.
All right, so again, this is episode 52 of This Disc is Great with Steve and Nate. We have the Dynamic Disc Getaway this week, and we're doing the Getaway because this is the disc you guys are getting next week in Dismember. So we want to show you guys what they fly like before they show up. This is one of the Dismember Ghost Stamp Getaways. You can't see the stamp because there's no foil, but it's on there. It's kind of an embossed feel. They look sweet. Steve, why don't you let us know what else is in Dismember this month?
So,
Do you not know what's in Dismember this month?
I don't know what's in Dismember.
We've been talking about it for like 4 weeks now. Come
Yeah.
on, Steve. We got that splash page?
oh yeah, totally. Sorry.
There you go.
All right. So we've got a disc, the sweet, no foil stamp Getaway. We've got that a T-shirt. Getting a.
That's a silly pine.
That's right. All right. So these silly pine cups, super sweet. We got towel and we got a mini.
Towel, that's a sticker.
All right. Well,
Come on,
it's
Steve.
a really small screen.
Then the Ultimate players are getting a super color center Ultra Star with the AUDL stamp on there, an AUDL jersey, and an AUDL mini. And don't forget about your UDisc subscriptions. We use those to measure all the throws that you see. So check them out if you aren't a disc member. Become a disc member. Steve, where do they need to go if they want to become a disc member, and what's it cost them?
Dismember.com is how you sign up for every month is $24.99. You're going to get all that stuff that was included, and you can check out what was already put into each package since we started. You'll see the sweet value that we've been giving you guys, and we're going to keep doing it because we really like this is so cool.
Yeah. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned for the summer. I've got almost the entire year lined out, so I'm finishing up a couple things. Pretty excited about everything. Check it out. Be a disc member. You also get in a sweet raffle every month, so check that out. The May raffle is 2 days, and then we'll do one on the 15th for June. Check that out. All right, so before we go too far, guys, make sure you're commenting and sharing this video so more people can see it, and so we can talk to you guys. Remember, we give away the discs that we threw in the review every week. So these two, this is a Lucid Getaway, and that's the Special Blend Fusion X Getaways. Also going to give away one of these disc member Getaways today, so you'll get it even earlier than everybody else. We always give away the disc that went the farthest to someone who can guess how far the farthest throw was. So you need to guess Nate or Steve, and then a distance. So Steve, 155, or Nate, 640. Those could be good guesses, maybe. So do that, and then just talk to us, ask us questions, leave funny comments. We'll give the other ones away. Or PDGA ratings just updated.
Yeah.
I went from a hole 919 to 920. So find someone who gave me the highest jump in PDGA ratings. So let me know what you were and what you jumped to, and we'll have to verify it before we give it to you. But who jumped the highest, and one of you will win you'll win the Dismember Getaway. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the review. So again, This is Great with Steve and Nate is a show where we take brand new releases, throw them a bunch of times, tell you how they fly. So let's go ahead and get into it. We have the Dynamic Disc Getaway.
All right, brand new release from Dynamic Disc. Flight numbers are 9, 5, -0.5, and 3. Dynamic Disc says this about the Getaway. Do you love the Escape but need more stability? Look no further than the Getaway. While it shares the feel and glide of an Escape, the Getaway boasts a more predictably overstable flight with moderate fade. The straighter flights with a subtle fade are a must. When straighter flights with a subtle fade are a must, trust the Getaway.
Yeah. So numbers-wise, Steve, what does that scream to you?
I was thinking this is what the numbers of a convict, like I was thinking convict, especially like a brand new out of the box one where you really don't get a whole lot of turn from it, but then at the same time with 0.3, it's basically 0.3. It's not quite a Firebirdie because it's longer.
Yeah, I'd say it's closer to like Thunderbird.
Yeah, just
Thunderbird, the new Vulture.
There you go.
that just came out from Discraft, so that's not really a good comparison because it's the same. As we know, we've seen it yet. Like a really beat-in Predator, those kind of things, or a Fortress from Westside.
Yes.
So those kind of things are similar to it. Let's just check it out and see how it flew. Steve busting out a big hyzer like usual.
Is that a dab there at the end?
If that's how it happens, then I guess that's my new thing. 337, I really just wanted to make sure I didn't just throw it straight up in the air. So 337, I liked how long it really held that straight line, and it wasn't a dumpy 3 fade. So
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with that flight.
Yeah, there's no flip up in that. It just holds that hyzer the whole way.
Look at that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he was
I know,
talking about his follow
I was like,
through.
oh, that felt like Johnny McRae where he does like he does a kick out at the end. But that was a little more hyzer and lower, so it was a more penetrating shot versus like trying to get over something. I could see this doing well in tunnel situations where it's the only option is you have to fade out
Yeah.
to whatever angle is of your left-handed or right-handed, which I'm left-handed, so that's why mine fades to the right.
And this is described as an Escape Pro, and like the Escape is a great fairway driver. It's got tons of glide. It goes super far, but it does tend to be a little touchy where you can throw it on this and it'll flip up. And sometimes I was turning it, so they came out of my bag because of that. This has that extra stability at the end to be a little more reliable. So I think, no, not quite. This is still the white one. So the Lucid is definitely more stable than the SE. That's typical. That's thrown just a little hyzer. This is the typical shot that I'm throwing on any hole unless I've really got to work an angle. Flip up the flat, went super straight, and then just reliably hyzered out. A very similar line to what I'm throwing with, say, my Orcs. Especially the beat-in one. And 389 with the control driver, that's all the farther it needs to go.
So that's this one, which is a little more understable, and even after skying it, it still turns. So I like this one where I could get some turn out of it, especially when I'm generally throwing on hyzer. So 340. I'm trying to think if I can get. I don't think I can get my Explorer that far.
Well, and this would have gone farther if you didn't throw it 6,000
Yeah.
feet in the air.
Yeah. So far it's
I could see it being a longer Explorer,
Yeah.
like especially the Lucid one.
where it's not really. It's never gonna dump
Yeah.
with aim. So
Speaking of, I got all of this one, and it's still not dumping, but it is getting that little bit of turn. Again, that's the SE one, so that has more turn than the other one. So it flipped up a little bit and then turned, but even then, reliably faded out at the end, so it's still got that reliable fade. This is a great kind of fairway driver. I'm not going to throw it 410 very often. That was the perfect grip with. I had a really nice tail left to right wind that was pushing me deeper. So 410 is a lot, but again, that's going really far for a 9-speed disc for me.
Yeah.
So it's a really good pump. And then this is a little flatter to an anti-release, and that's just to show you how reliably stable that Lucid one is.
Yeah.
So the SE one was turning a little bit more on that line. That threw it flat, just that touch of turn, and then faded out at the end. I think we got one more big anhyzer here. Yeah, so that's me turning it over. And you see it holds that turn for most of the flight, but it still came out. And like that's almost roller, like with the Maverick from a couple weeks ago, that's just about the roller angle I throw my Maverick on. But this held it, so it's really maneuverable. You can do a lot of things with it. Really solid disc as far as like being able to throw different lines with it. All right, let's see how well it sidearms.
yeah, I got one. I was having a rough day, to say the least, with the forehands when we were filming this. But just the couple times that I did get on it, without rolling your wrist, this disc will take a forehand. You got to put on hyzer, get it up to that 9 speed, and then it really holds that straight line for a long time. 272 off a hyzer flip. I'm regularly not trying to hyzer flip whatever I'm throwing a flick with, but knowing that it's capable, super awesome.
Yeah, for me, I found it had enough stability. Like, I put that flat and really hard, but it still had, even the SC one still had enough stability to come out at the end. It's a little less stable than the Felons that I normally sidearm as fairway control drivers, but it's got enough stability. Like, I would never forehand an escape unless it's a really, really touchy, like woodsy shot. This I can throw forehand and feel good about it. And 305 is pretty close to my max forehand anyway.
Not sure why we kept that one in, but
Just show the different. See, you
Yeah,
actually got
so-
on that as an Anheuser, and that if that was higher, that was still going to come out.
yeah,
Like, you threw that Annie, and it didn't just burn into a roller, but it held that Anheuser the whole way. And again, that's the flippier one, which is kind of what we'd expect. But
you make it look so easy.
and yeah, that's the Lucid one, so it does have a little bit more stability. Plus, I got it a little bit in the air. And again, I max out my flicks around 340 with my distance drivers. So 311 with a fairway driver is great sidearm distance. This has just enough stability that I can really rip on it and trust it. So Steve, how do you feel about those numbers? Do we feel like those numbers are pretty accurate?
It definitely didn't turn as much as my Convict, so I like the 0.5.
And I feel the 0.5 more on that one for sure.
Yeah.
On the SE.
Yeah.
I would have been fine with a 0 on the Lucid, but that's 0.5 turn is getting arbitrary. Do you think it has that 3 fade though? Is it that stable?
I would almost say 2.5 because it wasn't a dumpy fade. So
Yeah.
I thought it took the torque well. And it always was fading, but I don't know if I could trust the 3.
I feel like 3 fade is pretty close to on point in comparison to Dynamics' other discs that have 3 fade.
Yeah.
Now a Firebird from Innova has 3 fade, but a Felon, which flies very similar, has 4 fade in Dynamics numbers. So by their numbers, I think this is just a little bit less stable than a Felon. So 3 versus 4 I think is good. So solid. I think those numbers are spot on, and this is a great addition to Dynamics lineup. They didn't have a lot in that middle, like Orc Thunderbird range for anything that's like they went Felon to Escape, and that was a pretty big gap in the middle. So this is a great addition. All right, so that's the review. Let's get into some giveaways and some of your comments and questions. So
We have a winner for longest.
who got the longest one?
Which one are they getting?
They're getting this one because it's the one that went the farthest. So.
Okay, the longest throw was 411, and our winner is Damon Krosky.
That's a name I've never seen
All
before.
right, we got a new winner.
Damon
Krosky, winning the special edition.
Sweet. Damon Krosky, you guessed closest to the. What was his guess?
His guess was 411.
Perfect.
411 dots.
Oh boy, nice shot.
All right, so I don't know if you've been able to see any of these coming through. Did we get anybody talking about their PDGA ratings in there? We might have to do that one later, but we might do that
We
post.
haven't gotten an answer on that even when I messaged
Cool.
in the text. So we don't have too many.
We might have to do another giveaway later then. But let's. We got any questions that we need to answer?
I have a funny joke. How about that? Someone gave us a joke.
All right.
Jimmy Swinson says, "Dad joke. Hey guys, don't let that disc get away from you."
Oh.
Ooh, that's really dad jokey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, normally Dynamics description is pretty dad jokey,
Right.
and they left out the dad joke this time. Again, anything we need to answer before
Yeah,
we
is
hop
the
off here?
Getaway a disc you would bag? We have a question from Brandon.
If I had to go all dynamic, this or the Fortress would be replacing my Orcs.
I'm not really throwing a Thunderbird right now. I kind of just jump up to my Firebird, but I would feel comfortable taking this and using it as a Thunderbirdish shot. But yeah, I would put it in the bag right now. I don't have anything in that kind of hole, so I'm not totally sure if I would. there's not a whole lot of holes where I'm like, oh, I need this. So
And that's something we've talked about doing, like, since we've thrown a ton of this stuff. Again, this is episode 52, and I think somewhere around disc 60. I don't carry 60 discs in my bag. But we've talked about doing like a blog series where we do like, what would we bag if we only bagged this company? And that's where you could see where a lot of these things would fit in our bag. That we like, I could swap this out for my orcs and get away with it and not really notice. But I have 6 orcs stashed, so I'm not gonna buy these to replace like when I have those already. So it's kind of one of those things I could bag it, but I'm not going to.
We do have a question that's applicable to what you just said.
Cool.
Possibly a winner. Tammy Hooks.
Sure, I've never heard her
wants
name
to know,
before,
How
so
long
she
have
wins.
you been doing this? How long have you been doing this?
This show we've been doing since, I think our first episode was in March of last year. So just over almost a year and 2 months, and this is episode 52. But in case she was asking disc golf, how long have you been playing disc golf, Steve?
I picked up my first disc golf disc 3 years ago.
And I've been playing since 2010, so 8 years-ish?
You want to do that for the
Yeah,
for the giveaway?
they can give
Tammy.
she can win the first run getaway. Which we still have a bunch of first run getaways on the website, which I'm sure has been linked in the comments, or it will be soon. Then the stock stamp ones should be on their way when I place the order tomorrow. So tons of
Tammy
giveaways.
Hooks Birch.
What?
Tammy Hooks Birch. She wins it.
Sweet. Tammy Hooks Birch, you win this first run getaway, and then I'll check in the comments later for the other giveaway if they either answered my question or if we find other good comments. So any questions we didn't get to live, I do go back and answer as many of those as I can later.
Real quick, Bryce Swank wants to know how long you guys have been playing.
We just did that.
Oh.
We literally just answered
Okay,
that.
I'm way behind time, so we should wrap this up. What do you
Yeah,
think?
so again, that was episode 52. Thanks for checking us out. We'll be back next week with the Axiom Excite. That disc goes far.
Cool.